be a point where like tattoos are gonna stop being so.
All right. So what I'm
because it's discriminated for sure.
Okay. So what he's trying to say is like basically like men like me, my brother and I, we're kind of in the bottom of the barrel, right? So like that's kind of like when what I understand is like when like we get judged. A lot of people say, "Oh yeah, we accept tattoos." No, you don't, because at the end of the day, you're still gonna say, "We stole this, we stole that, we stole that." Unless we show that we make a large amount of money, and we always have to.
That's very true though, but that's what they say about everyone. No one cares until you're rich. No one gives a fuck about you.
But can I just say one thing real quick? My brother and I, we have to play the proving game a little bit too much. So
but don't you think? But Fly, let me say something really quick. You guys are. I agree with what you guys are saying, but because you have that perspective, wouldn't that make you feel some type of like camaraderie with women who are also being expressed? Like, you know, women, you're going to be criticized for just existing. Like, if you have to really monitor how you express yourself as a woman, or you're classified as a type of woman, right? Yeah. And so, just a woman. Thank you, Julie. Just a woman existing and showing her body, expressing herself. That's her God-given right. It's her, right? And
can I ask you a question?
Let me finish. But women are seen as extensions of the people in their lives. Like, you are seen as an individual. You're expressing your individuality, and you're going to be respected as a man.
You're basically saying women.
Let her finish.
You're basically saying, I don't mean to cut you off. You're basically saying women are objectified.
I'm not. No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that because you understand what it's like to be ostracized based on.
So we can relate.
Yes, you're being ostracized based on the way you present yourself and express your looks, and so I would think that would give you some type of depth to the situation. Thank you so much, Tall Guy, that you would understand that that's a shallow judgment. That people who are judging women, like, yeah, there are women who have no brain and they're just like, oh, look at my tits, and I don't want to establish my mind or grow or evolve. That's very true, but that can be said literally for anyone. There are people who play it safe and don't express themselves and also don't evolve. You know what I
mean? But then that leads me to go back to how we started, right? You said relate, but you also, like I said, same thing with me. It's like when you have tattoos on your face, it opens a lot of doors, but it closes a lot. See, with you, okay, so with a woman with her beauty, I can't really relate. Yes, they get catcalled. Yes, they can't walk alone, whatever the case might be.
But their safety hazard is not as worse.
Right, their safety hazard is not as bad. Their safety hazard is not as bad because you gotta understand, guys like.
Well, that's hard to say because that's not. You guys have to admit that as a woman, you can't even. There's very few places you can go alone as a woman and be safe. Like, as a man, even tattooed, you could travel as a man. Where I've traveled the world, but most of the time not alone because it's just not safe. But that's not really related to what we're talking about. But for you saying that women can capitalize off of their beauty and you could never do that. When I started capitalizing off of my beauty.
No, I didn't say men couldn't do that. No, I didn't. Let me stop.
Well, you're saying that you wouldn't be able to earn the same based on
what I'm saying is the way.
And if that makes it unfair somehow.
What I'm saying is, okay, for a man to be able to do this is why I said it's unfair. For a man to be able to do whatever is going on with any woman with their beauty, I have to watch what I say. But with a woman's beauty, right, would have to work 10 times as hard where the woman really doesn't. Just has to go, hey, turn the camera on, beep, right there. That's so. But you know what I'm trying to say, right?
Seems that way. I do see how it seems that way. But again, I started doing stuff to capitalize off of my looks when I was 21. But I was already a full-time college student, and I had to. Because I was literally a starving, homeless kid. I grew up homeless, grew up starving. So I was 20 still dealing with that. And so I had to make a decision. And I was going to be a lawyer. And I was like, listen, if I'm still stealing food, can't afford my rent, and these people don't care. No one cares. So I needed to take care of me regardless of how it was going to look, right? And I knew then that meant I was not going to be a lawyer, that I probably wasn't going to do the things I wanted to do because it was going to cost me my reputation. But at the moment, I was like, okay, what's more important? My reputation of a bunch of people who don't give two shits if I live or die, or my ability to feed myself and care for my family?
Okay, so with you just saying that, you look at it differently because you're looking at a perspective as in you, right? I'm looking in the outside because I'm not a beautiful woman, so I would never know how it is.
Right, but that would take empathy. Empathy means you can empathize with the situation that you could never be in. Thank you guys so much.
Which that's what I'm trying to do, but the way how you're explaining it is as an experience. So I can't speak.
What about my Insta? That's what I'm saying. I'm saying this from experience too. Like, I'm not immune to what I'm saying. I have faced a lot of judgment, and I've made decisions that have cost me my reputation, and it's not. I don't take that frivolously. Like I don't think it's as easy as you're making it sound. Like women do not get off scot-free. All those women you're saying who like show their body and get that money, you don't think that they have to pay for that, like with social consequences? Like there's lots of consequences to that. It's
there's consequences to anything that you do, for sure.
Exactly. So rather than apply judgment, you just like, oh yeah, there's consequences to everything.
Yeah,
and
but
so
when you
every person has to weigh the options, and so
yeah,
you have
but
to
you
look
gotta
at another person and say that they weighed the options and they made the choice that was best for them.
Okay, but there's consequences to like a privileged life. So we're talking about consequences as like, oh, let's just say a rich person, a rich kid, right? He grew up in a rich family, okay, and he was inherited money, whatever the case might be. His problems are so little to me. You feel me? It's not really a big problem. It's just really not. He could fix it, whatever. So those are the consequences that you're talking about. So
no, it's not, because you can't compare like even the rich kids, right? Like their level of experience, like they say, you can only feel to the depth of your own experience. So if you're a kid who was born with a silver spoon in your mouth, then any little inconvenience feels like the end of the world. Of course, to people who've actually suffered, they know it's not, right? But that person lacks depth and experience. So their soul, their person in their mind, their actual brain, to them, that pain is perceived differently. You know, if you have never felt pain in your life and then I slapped you on the face, you would be like, that was the most pain I've ever felt in my life. But if you were raised being beaten, then a slap wouldn't feel painful. You know what I mean? And so
but that's exactly what I just said, though.
Right, but you're saying that while also saying that there's hierarchies to like that put you above, morally above or below someone else, and I don't think that's
all right. So let's just go back a little bit. Let's go back a little bit. You said the consequences in a woman with beauty on social media or whatever the case might be. What is her consequences looking like? Let's talk about that real quick. So for example,
there's social repercussions. So like for instance, like your family usually will ostracize you. So that's one. Okay. Also, date your social group, your other friends will ostracize you, and then dating will ostracize you. And I'm sure if you know anything about like mental health, like when you don't have community, when people are acting as if you're less than, when you are not able to date or not able to have friendships or have family, that's a huge weight on a person. And also then the internet judges you, and the same people who will judge you and criticize you also value that. You know, the same people who are going to criticize women for capitalizing off of their looks still want the hottest chick, because they see her as an accessory. It's a prize. Like they want that. And so it's just like, you can't create a world where you treat women as objects, and then when those objects start treating themselves like objects, now they're the wrong ones. You know what I mean? Like,
okay, so let me stop you right there. So how do you feel about everything you said was right, but I'm not disagreeing at all, but how do you feel about, okay, so let me put me as an example. I don't want to talk about me, but I'm just going to put me as an example. So you said, okay, with family's going to judge. Okay, so for example, that's not really a good answer or statement, because you got to think about it. Some people are born without really a family. So that's a bigger problem
exactly.
That's a bigger problem than your family just judging you because you want to go on the internet and show your.
But what you just said, though, that's a bigger problem. We will waste our entire lives if we sit around and compare all of our problems and try to win who has the hardest life competition.
Yeah, like, you can't do
conversation.
That.
Like, what a waste. You know.
I agree. You can't do that, but I'm just letting you know. Like, that goes back to what I said, which was right. Is that the problems that the beautiful women have is not as big as you think it is, and they know it's not, because they know they're privileged.
You're grouping half of the pop. You're grouping. It's too big of a group. Like, no. I could hear what you're saying, but you're grouping all women in this one category. I do think there are privileged people who have never known struggle and then turn 18 and then they just start capitalizing off of shit like that. And that's only because they were raised in a society where that's all that was valued. And there's so much money. Like, what incentive would a young woman have to put herself through school when she could become a millionaire by the time she's 20? You know what I mean? Like, I really do empathize with these young chicks because we're not valuing the things that we say we value. Like, oh, you really value morality? Then why are we not rewarding the good girls? Why are those girls not getting their flowers now?
They do.
No?
They do. You guys' feelings matter than anybody else's feelings. So I don't know.
Feelings don't matter to nobody. Actions matter, and treatment matters, and none of that talk matter.
Okay, so let me just let you know.
Okay,
when I'm sad and I'm depressed, nobody cares. When you're sad and depressed, I'm pretty sure everybody cares.
But
so when I'm trying,
who started that? Like, women advocate for men's health all the time, but men don't advocate for men's health. And like this line of thinking that men's mental health isn't valued, it's because
that's false.
No, I don't think it's false.
I've been in plenty of relationships that I cry in front of them. They tell me to man up.
I'm sure you
gotta pay the bills.
But also,
you gotta get the money.
You're really young though, Fly. Like there's only a few. You've only had a couple of years of being an adult. You know what I mean? And when you get, oh, thank you. Oh my God, thank you, love. Thank you. You've only been an adult for a few years, and I could totally understand if you meet young women around your age who don't even have a developed brain and they treat you like shit because they're materialistic. And also, you came into money when you were really young, and that really clouds like the people who are attracted to you.
Oh my gosh.
Really early, you know, and you have all that attention too. So
yeah, right. So
it's just unfortunate. The enlightening thing is to not let that cloud your entire judgment. You know what I mean? Like that there is like something outside of just your only a couple years of adulthood experience. Thank you so much, love.
It's kind of not beneficial for